So welcome once again to
you.
another episode of the Love Approach Project. This is your host, Laura Gutierrez, and today I'm with a very special guest. Her name is Lucy Prout, and Lucy is a women's circle facilitator. She's also a liquid crystals healing practitioner, a spiritual teacher, and a soul intuitive guide. Lucy is also a mom and a soon-to-be wife. And I am very happy to have her here because we're gonna dive into a beautiful topic, and it's the topic of flow, of stillness, and of peace. So welcome, Lucy.
Thank you. I'm really honoured and blessed, and so excited to be here with you because we have amazing chats, even through our friendship. So, I'm just really open and honoured to answer your questions.
Yes, fantastic. I'm really excited about this episode because throughout the Love Approach Project podcast, we've touched on different ways of supporting people in releasing stress and of just reclaiming their calm, their harmony. But we haven't really gotten into kind of like stillness and peace, flow, and of course the acknowledgement of the feminine and the masculine within us. So I think our conversation is going to take us there today. And I hope everybody enjoys this.
Well, it's definitely a passion of mine, so
fantastic.
Yeah.
So, let's begin there. Let's begin with a little bit about you, your story, and how come, you feel so passionate and called to work with women and men to support them and help in getting to stillness and flow.
Oh my goodness. I suppose I could approach my story in a million different ways, and it's not actually something that I share very often. But I feel like it's very similar, if not the same, to most of, our stories or our inner journeys or yearnings. For me personally, in my younger experience, or when I was very young, I had a lot of psychic awareness, a lot of spiritual awareness, and I guess I always had those questions of, why? What is this? And there must be more understanding and more depth to who we are, as opposed to just living, breathing and walking on this planet. And even though I had such a beautiful upbringing and existence and lots of love and friendship and fulfillment in my human physical life, I did actually go through moments and periods in my life where I lacked that love, that self-love, and, missed that true meaning of why are we here? How can we live, in the embodiment of our hearts and our love and our truth? And, on top of that, I just had this incredible, I guess, yearning for spiritual knowledge, and not just, in this everyday life, but the metaphysical and, the esoteric and the really uncovering human potential. So that really catapulted my journey. And in one particular moment, one particular day in my early 20s, I'd already been, experiencing healers and psychics for many, many years. And I woke up that morning and I was like, gosh, I need help here. There's more to life. I'm not happy in my job. I'm not, fulfilled in my heart. I have, yet everything on the external looks, beautiful and, and amazing. And so I walked into this spiritual store that's no longer there, and I just said, look, do you have any readers here today? And while I'd seen psychic readers, many times before, they'd never really given me, the depth of what I was searching for. And I just happened to get in that moment. And I sat down with this woman who ended up becoming an incredible mentor for me, still to this day.
Wow.
And she just looked at me and she said, you don't even understand, what your energy is here for. You are here to master your energy. You are here to share and teach and help other souls. And something in the words that she said, and much more, she said much more than that. For the first time in my life, something hit me deep inside, connected me with my soul, and I went, yes. And she said, I can help you. I can teach you. And I went, I'm in.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. And I get goosebumps, really recalling that time in my life, because it propelled me into a deeper experience of who I am. And that experience and that journey that I've taken is why I love sharing with people. I feel like we're all looking for that.
Awesome.
Whether you call it peace or love or, stillness or joy or happiness. It's, we live in a busy, chaotic world.
Yeah.
And, sad things happen in our world. Yet, we need to return to that place where we are reminded of who we are.
Yeah. And so, listening or hearing you say all of this, it just reminds me of that innate need, I would say, or that inner need that we all have of being accompanied in our journey, of being held and of being supported and shown, where to go, because we all have those questions,
Yeah.
I guess I don't think I have met the first person yet that doesn't have a question around why am I here, why can't I feel calmer or more at peace with myself.
Absolutely. And, it's a blessing when we meet those guides and teachers that can show us the way. But a good teacher will always show you, how to access that within yourself so that you can be that, and understand that we already are that. We just unfortunately live, in a time and space on our planet where we're lacking the teaching and the tools, from a very young age that help us, grow into a certainty of who we are. And we're lucky if we do get that, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah. And then people like you and me are here, and many other people, that we can support other people like that. And then that creates a ripple effect, right? Because everybody then starts supporting other people.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's, the domino effect, I guess.
Yes.
That's what we're here to do, even if it's just, smiling, at someone on the street. That could change their entire life. And you don't know what kind of effect you have on people. And I do have a personal passion for spiritual teaching, for teaching, beyond, human consciousness, or awakening human consciousness to, the seen and the unseen aspects of, our lives and our potential. But that lives in every moment, regardless of if we're teaching or we're not.
Yes. And we have a little visitor.
We have a dog.
Awesome. Well, Lucy, let's talk a little bit about now. Thanks for sharing all of that. And now let's touch on stillness and peace, because this is definitely a topic that touches everybody right now, nowadays. As we were saying, we live in a chaotic world, and it has become the new mystery school, right? Our day-to-day life.
Yeah.
So, how did we get there?
Oh, goodness. Well, my absolute passion, no matter what I'm teaching, meditation always comes, first and foremost, as a tool that can help us access, the stillness and the peace and the truth and the love that we're looking for. But it's interesting because in my journey of understanding what stillness actually is, when we get to that still point, it's not a stopping. Because a lot of people think that, if I'm still, that means I'm not doing anything and I may not achieve anything in life. And we live in a world where we think if we do more, we succeed, we get more, we succeed more, we reach our goals more. But it's actually not like that at all. This mental orientated world that we've been seduced by, where we have to think and do and always be busy in order to get something in return, isn't really how we operate on an energetic level. If we learn to step into ourselves and find that stillness within us, life actually moves a lot faster, but it moves in flow rather than with resistance. And peace is really just being in flow. It's not about stopping. When life flows, you're flowing downstream. There's an ease and a grace to life and everything that you do, and an acceptance to everything that comes to you. And with that acceptance, the resistances or the blocking points tend to fall away and disappear. And what happens in most people's experience in life is they move into overwhelm or mental overwhelm because they've forgotten how to feel.
And to be able to be in the flow, you
have to
really
feel.
Need to feel.
You have to feel. And we're at a pivotal point in our humanity and on this planet as human beings, where we're constantly evolving and we're really awakening this idea of elevated consciousness, and the mental orientated world doesn't serve us anymore. We've gone so far into mastering the mind and mastering our personal will and being able to assert ourselves in the world, but we've forgotten how to feel.
We disconnected those two.
We've disconnected the two, but the two go together.
Exactly, yeah.
You have thoughts and feelings, and when they find balance, you take action in the world, and that action is in harmony with who you are as a being. We manifest through our thoughts and feelings in the world. Everything manifests through a thought and a feeling.
They cannot be separated.
Absolutely not. And in the most part, we overthink too much. And we don't bring in that conscious feeling. And so we might have a thought of, I want to reach this particular goal in life, but we forget to feel whether it's in our soul's alignment. Or we forget to bring in the feeling that manifests exactly what we want. And meditation is an apt and a beautiful and very powerful tool, to get there. And I feel like a lot of people resist it because it does bring to the surface, everything that you have chosen to kind of sideswipe and not deal with in your life. But it's a really beautiful experience when you have the right tools.
And so, when you talk about meditation as a tool to help us feel, so I would say many people think of meditation as it's a mental exercise, right?
Yeah.
So how do we feel through meditation?
So one of the things that I'm very excited about with the way that I teach and what I offer is that the type of meditation that I do is completely intuitive and channeled and guided, but it's an experience and an embodiment and a journey. Yes, there is mindfulness in that process, because being present and learning how to bring the present moment to us is always step one, to being in the body and feeling in your physical world and settling the mind. But we go way beyond, to the inner, energetic aspects of that journey, and we learn to feel. And visualization is a huge part of what I teach, because if we can learn to visualize, that leads into feeling, and when we feel, we become.
Okay.
So if we meditate enough on feeling love or feeling peace and bringing that into our experience of our world and our body, it does manifest. It does become a part of who we are.
And then in the feeling, because perhaps many people are afraid of feeling, and of feeling perhaps sorrow, pain, despair. How do we still use meditation in that case, to help us shift that, or perhaps not shift it, but see it, allow it, honor it, and then move forward?
Well, unfortunately, No, but I think fortunately, because it's such a beautiful experience to feel. That's the human experience, right?
Yeah.
But to become comfortable with your feelings can be challenging. But the only way to heal is to feel. You know, to go deep within, you know, our inner ocean of emotion, you know, and a lot of the analogy and the visualizations that come up, you know, in the work that I do, especially with women, is the work that we do with the ocean and the ocean that lives within us, because our bodies are pretty much salt water in the same and mass in the same ratio that our oceans to land are. And so we are a micro version of the planet that we live on. You know, and if you think about what happens when we have a release of emotion, a lot of the time we cry, and those tears are salt water. So we are literally releasing the waves that we have, you know, created in our world. And you can probably, you know, recognize or resonate with the experience after you have a really good cry. There's a stillness.
I love it.
And there's an incredible peace, and there's a release or a discharge of that energy that you've been holding on to. Is very, very powerful. And you do have to be, I suppose, brave enough to feel. But, you know, the feelings and the emotional disharmony that we create in our life is just poorly recognized love. It's that we've used our mind to label that emotion, like I'm sad or I'm angry, or, you know, and what happens, you know, with thoughts and feelings in that process is that you capture that feeling and you trap it in thought. And it no longer becomes feeling, and you rob yourself of the ability to just flow and feel in life. And that's predominantly a lot of the work that we do, not I do and share, not just with women, but men too, because we all have masculine and feminine energies within us, but is really learning to be present and to feel and flow with whatever comes to you, and knowing that if we are willing to feel, it just shifts. It's just like the waves of the ocean and the tides. They come in and out, and nothing is stagnant. Nothing stops. Everything transforms and transmutes at some point in our lives, just like nature does, just like the trees. You know, I mean, nature itself is such a powerful way to bring yourself into the moment and align with, you know, being present and your capacity to feel. And stillness arises from that. Flow and peace arise from that, because we're no longer, you know, in overwhelm in the mind or in the head.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you for putting it in those words, because it definitely can feel sometimes like it's very far away from you to perhaps experience stillness or peace. You know, but as you say, it's within. So it's about opening the doors for the flow, for the water to flow. And then I had the beautiful vision of like these doors opening and just allowing the flow to happen. And I know for many people perhaps this can sound a little bit too ethereal, if we can call it like that, but it can be put into practice in a day-to-day life, right?
Absolutely. I mean, maybe most of your listeners live in Sydney or Australia, but we're so close to the ocean, you know, and we're so surrounded by nature. You know, I spend a lot of time, you know, in and at the ocean, because water is our most healing element, and it instantly offers us that healing and that ability to feel and become in the moment. And it's a very, very powerful, you know, if someone especially that is not an avid meditator or not an experienced meditator, you know, I often suggest to just start walking very consciously, you know, by the beach, in the ocean, feet in the ocean, or sit with the waves, or, you know, sit with the sand. A lot of people don't realize how powerful, you know, just being around the sand is, because the sand is a result of millions and millions and millions of years of waves, emotion, breaking against our shore, the earth mat, I'm getting all the doggies today. Bit of animal love. And so, the sands are a result of what happens when there is war, when emotion is at war with mind. And so sitting at the beach offers us instant peace if we're willing to feel.
We're willing to feel, yes.
And flow.
And be there.
And accept.
Yeah. Wow. I sometimes think of kind of like just the day-to-day life of millions of people on our planet, and of how, oh, hello. I know.
Drink.
Come on.
Coffee.
And how
Drink.
there's a big, let me just rephrase this, there's what I perceive it's a big disconnection, right? Because of the demands of your day-to-day life. You have to pay bills, you have to pay rent or mortgage or whatever, or you have to simply keep up with what society is asking from you. And sometimes that world can be very different to the world of reclaiming your stillness and remembering and allowing. Apart from meditation and from perhaps experiencing nature, for someone who lives in a city where there is no access to the beach or water, what can someone do?
Is to just be present, and to learn to look at life a different way. We're going back to the mind here all the time. A lot of people, overthink or analyze or judge, what's happening in their world. Oh, I've got bills to pay. Wow, I get to pay this and I get to live in an amazing city and I have lights and heating and electricity and air conditioning and, I have been through that experience because throughout my journey, especially when I was meditating a lot, there can be this, oh, I'm in meditation mode and, oh, I'm then in busy world mode.
Yeah.
But that does happen sometimes to some people when they start that meditation journey. But I guess the ultimate purpose of that is to learn how to integrate and become more present and still and, reframe, their surroundings and see life as a, infinite, opportunities and possibilities, and to have such gratitude for the things that we do have in our lives. And life suddenly, becomes this, living, breathing, alive experience rather than this, endless list of things that are weighing us down.
So it's that changing the perspective.
Yeah, the shift in,
Yes.
the perspective, the mental, attitude that we have towards, life and chores and, I did go through an experience when I had my bubba and suddenly housework became an enormous task to get, through each day. And one of my beautiful friends, I was complaining to her on the phone and she said to me one day, oh my goodness, housework is such a sacred, opportunity to create a beautiful space for your family. And I just went, oh my goodness. And, I've always loved, creating beautiful spaces, which is one of the elements of why, my women's events are called sacred spaces.
Yeah.
And so I love, attending to things in the house and in the home. But yeah, sometimes it can feel mundane and heavy, but, a shift in perspective and an honoring of the opportunity that you have to be able to do that, to be able to, have my child and have a family, or, do that for your partner, it's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you, Lucy. That's I think that actually I think people can resonate a lot with that.
Yeah,
you know?
it's in the details.
It's in the
little
detail,
the
yeah.
little everyday things. You
Yeah.
know, life isn't about meditating for an hour and then going out into your world. It's
And then-
about
yes.
bringing those worlds
Together.
together.
Yeah.